In this video I'll show you a technique for using Rigify generated rig inside Cascadeur and then retarget your animation back to the original armature in Blender. The cool thing about this method is that it allows you to make adjustments to your animation using both the FK and the IK controllers. As an example, I'll be using this Spider-Man model rigged with Rigify created by Cascadeur, and it's available for free to download. And also a huge thanks to CGDie for his amazing videos, which really helped me create this tutorial. Before we dive into it, let's quickly run through the workflow so you know exactly what to expect. First we will duplicate the rig and we will be exporting this duplicated rig later, and we will need to get rid of every bone except the deformed bones, clear the constraints and the hierarchy of the bones, then move it from Blender to Cascadeur, then rigging it in Cascadeur and then moving it back to Blender, and at the end retarget it using the Rococo add-on. Just to quickly explain why we need all of these steps is because Rigify wasn't made to use it outside Blender, and the deformation bones have an unconventional hierarchy that are parented or constrained to the different control and mechanism bones. Let's get started fixing the armature. So first I will select everything in this hierarchy and duplicate it in object mode with Shift D. So I have an identical rig and I will put it in a new collection, and I'll disable the collection of the original rig so I won't accidentally select it. Yeah, and one other thing with this model, if you turn on face orientation you can see one of the eye has flip normals, so I will just quickly fix it. I will rename this duplicated rig also, and I will go to edit mode and we will need to delete all bones except the bones on this layer. So make sure you have all layers selected except the layer 30, and select all with A and delete them. Some of the bones are not selectable, so they are not deleted. You can turn on selection here and then make them selectable and also delete them. So before fixing the hierarchy I will go to pose mode and remove all the constraints. And I also want to unlock all bones, because you can see you cannot move, rotate or scale these bones because they are locked. That's a really easy fix, just select all of them, and by holding Alt you can just turn on everything. And now if you try to move the spine bone you can see the legs and the arms are not parented to the spine. We will need to fix this. Go to edit mode and I will turn on symmetric changes, so I only need to parent one side. Select the hip and the first leg bone and then the first spine bone, and with Ctrl P parent it with keep offset. And now the other side is also parented. Do the same with the clavicle and the breast, parent it to the upper chest bone. You need to parent the first arm bone to the clavicle, and also the finger joints are parented to the hand bone, but there are palm bones and the finger should be parented to these palm bones. And I will just move around the bones so I can see if they are parented correctly. And it seems fine, so we can go to exporting it. I will select everything in this collection, and in FBX export I will only export the selected objects, which are armature and mesh objects. I don't need anything else. I don't need animation. I will keep the leaf bones because I found it easier to rig that way in Cascadeur. And you can check deformed bones, but everything here is a deformed bone. and save this file. And to rig this model in Cascadeur, I will create a new scene and import the model that we just exported. We will go to rigging mode, and I will use quick rigging tool. And quick rigging tool won't automatically recognize these bones, so you need to manually drag and drop all of them. I will go over the spine first because that's the trickiest part, I think. First we need the spine bone for the pelvis. The stomach is the spine 1, and I found the chest should start at spine 2. The spine 3 also belongs to the chest, but it starts at spine 2. The neck has 2 bones, spine 4 and spine 5, so you need to start at spine 4. And the head is spine 6. Then I can drag and drop the right side of the character. For the hands, I have a shoulder right, upper arm, forearm and hand, and then the right leg. Yeah, and make sure that you are not using these 001 suffix bones because they will be the twist bones. That will come in later. And actually I will do the twist bones right now. The thigh and the shin. And then the upper arm has a twist bone and the forearm also with this 001 suffix and can be mirrored as well. And the fingers are pretty straightforward. 1 goes to the first, the 2 goes to the second, and 3 goes to the third. And I will create a mirror object for the left hand. I will export it as a JSON file, and you will be able to download it from the link in the description and import it here. And now I can generate the rig elements, and I will keep editing because I will need to fix the rigid body sizes. Yeah, it should be good enough, and I can generate the rig. And as you can see, the rig works. And I just created this animation quickly so I can show retargeting with the Rococo add-on in Blender. We will need to export this animation as an FBX. I will override the skip up. For retargeting you will need the Rococo add-on that you can download for free from their website. And once it's downloaded in Blender, go to Edit, Preferences, Install and search for the zip you just downloaded and install the add-on. And you will need to select the checkbox here. Okay, so import the exported animation, which was the skip up. And in the import settings I will ignore leaf bones because I exported with leaf bones, and everything else can be kept the default. I will just delete the mesh. And we will need to retarget from this armature to the Rigify armature. I will go to pose mode with this armature. Open the Rococo add-on, and I will need to sign in. And after you are signed in, you will find this retarget option and select the source as a imported armature, and the target will be the Rigify armature. And now we can build a bone list for retargeting. This automatic recognition doesn't work well in this case, so we will need to clear everything and manually select all of the control bones that will be retargeted. To make it easier, make your control bones visible and also the deformation bones on layer 30. And this way you can see which control bone belongs to which deformation bone. First I will select the FK control bones and I will add the IK control bones at the end. The pelvis should be this torso object. And then spine 01 is this spine FK01. Spine 2 is spine FK2. And then for the neck, we will need this neck bone, which is spine 4. And spine 6 is the head. Shoulders are the shoulders. That's pretty straightforward. And we will first retarget to the FK armature, which are these green bones. And the fingers are also straightforward. Just make sure you are selecting the correct side for the fingers. So now the .l suffix first. The breastbones can be also retargeted if you animated them. The pelvis are not needed and the legs are also needed. Tight FK, shin FKL, foot FKL and toe FKL. Okay, I just realized I had an older version of the Rococo add-on. In the newest version you can add custom entries, and you will need to add multiple entries to retarget to the IK armature. Again, CG Dive has a video about this that I will link in the description, but in my case I will only need the foot IK controller and this tight controller and the arm IK and this upper arm IK. So I will add 4 custom bones, and I will need the upper arm left, the hand left, the upper arm right, hand right, and actually I will need 4 more for the legs. And this will be the upper arm IK, left, the hand IK, left, upper arm IK right, and hand IK right. Then tight IK left, foot IK left, tight IK right, and foot IK right. Seems about right. And now I can retarget the animation. I will unhide this imported armature, and if I now play the animation, it should work. So now the IK rig is selected, so I can change the animation here with the IK controllers. But if I want to, I can switch to FK and then work with the FK on the right arm. And it makes it really easy to switch between IK and FK. Even though the two armatures are aligned perfectly, the retargeted animation is not perfect. That's because the first spine bone and the torso controller are not at the same place exactly. The only way I found to have the exact same animation as we had in Cascadeur is that I used the duplicated armature, selected it, went to the action editor and selected the imported action. and this way the animation is exactly the same as it was in Cascadeur. If you find a better solution for retargeting, I would be really curious, so please let me know in the comments. And hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Bye.